Language and cultural differences. Familiarize yourself with the differences in language, culture, and business practices so you don't inadvertently offend your potential customer and lose a sale. Paperwork. There's no way around it. Both Canadian and foreign governments require a lot of documentation from exporters of products and services. Accessibility. You have to be easily available to your foreign clients. Competition. You must be sure you're thoroughly familiar with the competition in your target market. Robert Arthur's International provides resources and contact information to help businesses with export counseling, marketing strategy information, market entry support, export financing, and in-market support. Exporting goods versus exporting services. Exporting goods and exporting services present quite different challenges. The former must deal with packaging, customs, and physical delivery, for example, while the latter confronts issues such as work permits, credential validation, language and travel to and from the market. When exporting goods, it is also important to remember that there is often a service component that should be anticipated: installation, training, service, warranty, etc. Are you ready? An export-ready business is one that has the capacity, resources, and management to deliver a marketable product or service on a global scale at a competitive price. The trick is to determine whether this is true of your company, and if it isn't, how to make it happen. Your first step is to think about the resources and knowledge your business already has. Consider the following as a starting point. Your expectations. Do you have clear and achievable export objectives? A realistic idea of what exporting entails and the timelines for results? An openness to new ways of doing business? An understanding of what is required to succeed in the international marketplace? Human resource requirements. Do you have the capacity to handle the extra demand associated with exporting? Senior management committed to exporting? Efficient ways of responding quickly to customer inquiries? Personnel with culturally sensitive marketing skills? Ways of dealing with language barriers? A local contact or go-to person? Financial and legal resources. Can you obtain enough capital or lines of credit to produce the product or service for new orders? Find ways to reduce the financial risks of international trade? Find people to advise you on the legal and tax implications of exporting? Deal effectively with different monetary systems and ensure protection of your intellectual property? Competitiveness. Do you have a product or service that is potentially viable in your target market? Resources to do market research on the exportability of your product or service? Proven and sophisticated market entry methods? Export myth. Export myth. My company is too small to be successful at exporting. To succeed in international markets, you don't have to be a big firm. Tens of thousands of Canadian small and medium-sized companies, SMEs, those with foreign sales of between $30,000 and $5 million, are currently exporting and are doing very well. Evaluating your export potential. Can your product or service find a worthwhile market outside Canada? Answering this question is crucial. If there's no demand for what you're offering, it would be unwise to proceed. Customer profiles. Who already uses your product or service? Is your product or service in broad general use or limited to a particular group? Is your product or service popular with a certain age group? Are there other significant demographic patterns to its use? What climatic or geographic factors affect the use of your product or service? Product modifications. Are modifications required to make your product appeal to foreign customers? What is the shelf life of your product? Will this be reduced by time in transit? Can the packaging be easily modified to satisfy the demands of foreign customers? Is special documentation required? For example, does your product have to meet any technical or regulatory requirements? Transportation. How easily can your product be transported? Would transportation costs make competitive pricing a problem? How efficiently does the target market process incoming shipments? Are specialized containers or packaging materials required? Local representation. Do you require a local marketer/salesperson or other local representation? Do products require professional assembly or other technical skills? Is after-sales service needed? If so, is it available locally or do you have to provide it? Do you have the resources to do this? Exporting services. If you're exporting services, what is unique or special about them? Are your services considered to be world-class? Do you need to modify your services to allow for differences in language, culture, and business environment? How do you plan to deliver your services? In person, with a local partner, or by electronic means such as the internet? Capacity. Will you be able to serve both your existing domestic customers and new foreign clients? If your domestic demand increases, will you still be able to look after your export customers and vice versa? Are you ready to grow?